Travis Wayne Goodsell, to save your life. Travis Wayne Goodsell. 8 years ago and 8.9K videos ago, my channel on YouTube changed to try to save your lives. Sacrificing my own with the enemy threat to all of us. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has been the enemy the whole time, and I'm just trying to save your lives. I have sacrificed my life to save yours. Yesterday, as D. Todd Christofferson got back to work, I was severely cyber-terrorized. You will have noticed, for those of you who've been following me, that for quite a number of weeks I was left alone from the camera freezing. It resumed this morning after yesterday's cyber terrorist attack to shut me up, to stop me from doing videos. Again, I warned, if you don't want me doing video content exposing the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, then leave me alone. Leave the world alone. Stop being bad. That's all they have to do. They can go around and continue to lie about Joseph Smith, but I'm going to do videos about how you're lying. You know, you're trying to assassinate Donald John Trump, President of the United States of America. So I'm going to expose it. It's what I'm going to do. After all the repetitious pattern of practice of you threatening me to shut up and to die, has it worked? So why do you keep doing it? You do know that those who continually repeat the same pattern of practice expecting a different result are what? And so I've got a bunch of papers. I don't want this to be as long as it's going to be. I don't want to have to keep repeating information. And I've got a bunch of one-liners. So I'm just going to plow right through it. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints ordered the assassination of Charlie Kirk, so that Trump would then be triggered to declare war on the left. And then the church would have their kingdom back and assassinate President Trump. Are you trying to shut down the power? Holy crap. They want me silenced. They even crashed the program making the thumbnail picture. So let's plow through this stuff. I'm Still Standing is the theme song in the description below. In NCIS yesterday, if you remember the video in which I invoked the resurrected Johnny Cochran, they did too. If the hand doesn't fit, you must acquit. We all know where that comes from. We all know, even though it was glove, we all know what they were referring to. So, yeah. I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's number 3. You do understand that this implicates the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as responsible right now. Cyber-terrorizing me continued from yesterday. They think that this is funny, that they're shutting me up, that they're threatening me to shut up, and it's not working again, remember? This is proving to all the world that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints wants you dead. Last month, they pulled this stunt where they cyber-terrorized me on YouTube and then got Microsoft involved to threaten me to shut up. And they committed crimes against me. Cyber-terrorism is a crime. To shut me up. As I did the picture for you of that attack, of my camera not wanting to work. That was an escalation of the freezing of my camera. And here they go again, as you are all witnesses that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has ordered the hit on me and you and President Trump and Charlie Kirk. They are the enemy, and they are framing and blaming an innocent Mormon to frame and blame all Mormons. Just like Cox's 4th great daddy did to Joseph Smith and the Mormons back then. And so, let's take you into the scriptures. Joseph Smith's 1838 history that was tampered with by Willard Richards, putting Jesus in the name of Joseph's Jewish church, putting Moroni instead of Nephi. There's added in Joseph Smith's vision, not literal history, to Malachi concerning the day that shall come that shall burn as an oven. Joseph adds, for they that come shall burn them, saith the Lord of hosts. So is it Jesus? No. Humans blaming Jesus. There's an extermination event, leaving humans with neither root nor branch. And then he adds again to Malachi concerning Elijah. It has nothing to do with baptisms for the dead. It is about the extermination event of mankind by these people who are going to frame and blame Jesus. That the whole earth would be utterly wasted at his coming if I can't get you to Zion so that we can preserve the human race. Verse 40 quotes from Acts, but then puts cut off. If you do not listen to me. The correct translation from the Greek is not just destroyed. utterly destroyed. So Joseph uses utterly in verse 39, and then destroyed in 42. Joseph knows. He specifically put cut off because there are other scriptures that say cut off. That's what he's alluding to. It's utterly destroyed. So the Book of Mormon, what is the ending of the Book of Mormon? Oh, yay, the gospel has been restored. No, everybody dies. It's a tragedy. I informed the President of the United States of America that in 1 hour they should be receiving my message, and therefore will not know about it until it is given to the President. It better be, or there's an inside coup to murder the President, which, yes, there is. The Book of Mormon is encoded, and since the Secret Service and the FBI and Homeland Security and Pam Bondi are mentally retarded and can't figure it out and refuse to investigate to save Trump's life, I gave them the answers. 1 Nephi, chapter 1, verse 4, the first year. Refer to verses 8 through 10. It's 2017. Zedekiah is President Trump, put on the throne of America in 2017, January 20th. It comes from, I explain it later, verses 8 through 10. And so I refer to 1 Nephi chapter 2, verse 4, to connect it with being put on the throne by Babylon. In 1 Nephi 2:4, Lehi leaves in an exodus from Jerusalem 600 years from 597. That is 4 CE. 8 April 4 CE was the annular solar eclipse over Russia. Russia was caught and exposed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, even putting Trump in as president in the 2016 election. Well-established facts, despite the denialism and the lies. All right here in the Book of Mormon. That eclipse was exactly 20 years from 8 April 2024's solar eclipse over the United States of America. Meaning that 2020 is the Exodus year, in which creeping death, drought, parting of the waters, and the fall of Pharaoh's kingdom, aka President Trump. First Nephi, chapter 1, verses 8 through 10, 23rd September 2017. 2017, the first year of Zedekiah, Trump. This is from Revelation chapter 12, verses 1 to 2 and 5. You gotta put in 5. The Joseph Smith translation moves verse 5 to verse 3. Gotta put in verse 5. This is from Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1. Gotta include verse 5. And 7, verses 13 to 14. 23rd of September, 2017. And thus all others, like Matthew in chapters 1 and 2, refer to this date. It's not literal history either. It's a Jewish code. 3rd Nephi, chapter 11, verse 2. The 34th year, 8 April 2024. The death sign from Revelation 19, verses 11 and 17. With the Lamb as Jupiter in Aries. From Revelation chapter 12, the man-child, Jupiter. The solar eclipse on this date, with the previous 2 over the United States of America, are all over Jewish scripture. It's in the Book of Mormon too, including Isaiah chapter 7, verse 14 as the sign from Paleo-Hebrew script. Formed by the 3 solar eclipses over America. 21st of August 2017, 14 October 2023, 8 April 2024. Knowing that the 34th year in the Book of Mormon is 8 April 2024, we now go back to 3rd Nephi chapter 7, verses 1 and 2. The 30th year, 2020. What's supposed to happen in 2020? Trump's second election. An attempted assassination. But I didn't learn that this was only a test run by Dallin H. Oaks getting leaked by a little sister missionary through her mission president in 2020 until November last year. That's why Trump is here again in 2025. Joseph Smith, likewise, knew of Trump's deportation plot by orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Warning in several places. I went over with you again yesterday, section 101, verse 51, deportation of Mormons. And 19 July 1840, deportation of Mormons. The enemy is described as Brigham Young and his future church. Yeah, Brigham Young didn't want it published. He was mad. He had Joseph murdered. And so, section 119, a forged document by Brigham Young, calling for priestcraft and calling for the deportation of apostates. And who did Trump declare war on? And what are you considered by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Again, the church is behind everything to exterminate you. And there's some other stuff. I warned him about what the YouTube employee was doing to attack me. who just happens to live at Crime Central down there in Orem, along with the 2 thumbs downers. And I noticed lately a third is trying to come and be a hater against me, which is an aggravated hate crime, by the way, in case you guys can't figure out that I'm a religious channel. So why am I being attacked now, after some lessening of attacks since the last massive attack? Again, I told you, this is their pattern of practice. They strike big, lay low, let it be the new normal, lie in wait, plot the next, and strike. Same cyclical pattern all these years. And they still wait for me to do something different, like, shut up. They're mentally retarded. I'm getting more views. I warned them, don't do it. And they said, oh yeah? And here I am. I did it. And sure enough, more views, just like I told you I'd get. And so now they are escalating the attack again. If you don't want me to do the videos, back off. Leave me alone. Leave the world alone. Stop trying to plot a coup. Stop murdering people. Stop stealing. Stop lying. And I'll stop, because there's nothing to report on. They can't get it in their brains. They don't want to get it. They want your lives destroyed. They want to control you, a social behavior control. To tell you what to do, tell you how to think, tell you how to feel, tell you what to believe. They don't like you. They disapprove of you. They've judged you. And so it wasn't just Joseph Smith who warned. Thomas B. Marsh's affidavit to the governor of Missouri. The Danites came to him. They said, Joseph is in charge of us, except that what he exposes in this document vindicates Joseph Smith. He didn't have access to be able to look at all the documents and fact check them. They are the ones who told Thomas B. Marsh that they are true Mormons, not the rest of you fake Mormons. See the false dichotomy? You're either with us or against us. And they called themselves Danites. This is confirmed from the previous election that they tampered with and caused the war in the first place to come to Thomas B. Marsh and said, join us. We promise Joseph is in charge of it. He's telling us to do all this. And yet it was Joseph who got locked up and not Brigham. Brigham ended up becoming the president of the church in Joseph's absence. What gave him the authority to take over the church? None. And so yes, they were murdering, burning down people's homes and businesses, stealing the loot and taking it to Thomas B. Marsh as the president of the Quorum of the 12, giving assignments to the 12 to go set up churches and then return and report that churches have been established and then give them new assignments to go to other cities to establish a church. And Thomas B. Marsh knew nothing of Adam-on-Diamond, and he has trouble spelling it because he doesn't know about it. Joseph Smith never went there. I've done the videos. Section 116 is a forged document about how Adam-on-Diamond, where was Joseph Smith, he went on vacation and took a tour of all the Danites, and they said, oh, this is the altar where Adam offered sacrifices. And as Jesus Christ laid down his life for mankind, so you too must sacrifice your life to save the church from prosecution. A little temple text for you by Brigham Young. None of it happened. They made it all up 40 years later to be put in Brigham Young's 1876 Doctrine and Covenants. There's a whole bunch of forged documents. Section 115, 116, 117, 118, 119, 132, anything on the baptisms for the dead. Their plot for the future was told to Thomas B. Marsh, that they are going to take the United States and ultimately the entire world. Now remember when Joseph said that they were going to frame and blame Jesus? Enter Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. in The Way to Perfection, Gathering at Adam-on-Diamond, by Voice of the Priesthood, page 291. Yeah, they tried to assassinate me when I leaked this. I was just searching for it. They made it very difficult to find. The member of the 70 didn't reference it correctly. He claimed it as his own. And so yes, that's why I'm now here, is because I exposed this document. The church was pissed. And I didn't know it was a test run in 2020. This was 2021 after October conference. Prior to October conference, I found that the church was involved with a secret combination to overthrow the government. The Council for National Policy, getting them to do the work and give the orders, as the church sits back and waits for it to all happen. And then everybody's dead, they get their kingdom back, Trump is dead. Everybody else is enslaved to the doctrines of Lucifer. But here they switched it. They're the good guys. This is encoded. Joseph Fielding Smith, being the son of Hiram Smith, is not allowed to know the plot. He can't be trusted with it. And so you see how they were deceiving Mormons, even Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. This council in the Valley of Adam-on-Diamond, code for cooing the United States of America, and ultimately the entire world, is to be of the greatest importance to this world. At that time, there will be a transfer of government authority from the usurper and imposter, Lucifer. Ooh, Trump is Lucifer? I did see a bunch of leftist memes about Trump sitting at the Oval Office in his first term with Lucifer behind him telling him what to write. And then some with Hitler. Probably a space alien. The swamp creature. To the rightful King, Jesus Christ. They're framing and blaming Jesus, are they? president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Nelson, it's you. You've been waiting, saying in the coming day, in the coming days, in the coming day, in the coming days. Oh no, I don't know the day anymore. It's you. You're here. You've been here the whole time. Jesus will then assume the reins of government. They're waiting for Trump to purge Utah of the apostates. And then they assassinate him, and then, oh, the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints becomes the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the great high priest. Just as Brigham second anointing in January 1846 in the Nauvoo Temple, and then fled the country. Brave Sir Brigham ran away. And so this is not supposed to be known. It's a secret combination. The members of the church will not know of it. The world will not know of it. The world cannot know of it. Because if they found out that the church is involved in all of this, if Trump found out finally that the church is going to have him assassinated, it's got to be kept a secret. The saints cannot know of it either. You can't trust these Mormons. They might whistle blow and do YouTube videos exposing them. Helaman chapter 6, verse 24. You're welcome. The things I do for my country, and I don't even get a hot babe in all of this. There you go, D. Todd Christofferson. I promise you, even though the name is deceiving, it's PG-13. Which also would be a fun song to listen to this morning. Yeah, everybody else knows that it's Triple X, D. Todd. Fire song in German. Everybody's trying to figure out what the translation is. Maybe Dieter can help you out with it. Okay. So, over 30 minutes for that intro of repeated information, trying to save your lives, and they're trying to have me murdered and silenced and destroyed. So let's get rid of this little thing that's in the way that was last. Brian Kilmeade called for the murder of homeless. God. And so yes, because they're attacking me, it means I'm right. They wouldn't be attacking me if I'm wrong. They wouldn't be attacking me if I was getting nothing legitimately. They had to rig the algorithms to shut me down from getting views. That's why I told them, I know how to do it. Don't make me do it. You don't want me to do it. It's also conference time. Conference is coming up. This is what they do right before conference too. They've got to shut down my channel. They can't let me do video content for conference. But there's not going to be a conference because it's escalated. with the assassination of Charlie Kirk by orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. They want this nation in a civil war by conference time. And I don't understand why. You've got 2 more years to go before the temple's finished. Why are you rushing? Okay, so we covered that. So, yeah. Covered that. Okay. All this year, after Trump's inaugural address giving out orders, Cox has refused to obey. Cox is even defying Trump all this year, by getting their secret informant in Homeland Security and in the DOJ and the FBI to have the Mormons freed from being deported. There's been several of them that Cox stepped in and had freed. That's going against Trump. Trump gave orders as the President of the United States. And here Governor Cox, I'm reporting all this, is going against Trump. The department, or the ICE person in charge here in Utah has been trying to get the word out that Cox has handcuffed him from doing his job, calling Utah a sanctuary state. Trump said, we're shutting down all sanctuary cities and states. They must be MAGA, no lefties. And Cox is refusing to obey. And then, last month into this month, the police are finally teaming up with ICE here in Utah. But still no massive raids like the church headquarters for distribution center, 17th and 19th, where all of them Islamist Mormons are working, and other illegal undocumented, because the church came out after Trump in his inauguration and said, we're defying Trump. We're not going to obey the laws of the land. We are going to give aid and comfort to terrorists and leftists and all on Trump's blacklist that I've been going over with you. I warned you all this time. And finally, I warned them not to do it. They did it. So it looks like the number 4 time they're leaving me alone. But I was enjoying being left alone all these weeks. And so, yes, this is why Cox was ordered to take the lead on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, to frame and blame Mormons. And it was awful yesterday. What Cox has ordered is awful. We're getting to it. Okay, we can throw that one away. So we saw this coming. The assassination took place. They arrested a Toronto man first. He talked. Obviously, he didn't do it. They let him go. They arrested a second person. They let him go because it wasn't him either. They were just randomly locking people up, hoping that they would find somebody who will confess to having done it. They didn't bother to do an investigation. And so, after obtaining the videos of all of the cell phones, they found that there was a person who had seen somebody on the Lucy building on the roof. And so, rather than investigate to find out that the Fugal building was the trajectory of the kill shot, they have gotten the press to censor the video content, to not show the kill shot. But, as in George Floyd, the uploaded video content of the assassination went worldwide, despite all the press censoring it. The press claims that they're justified because of the threats given by evangelical home wives back in the 80s. News is too violent. I don't want to hear about this. I want to hear about crafts and projects, happy things. I don't want to hear about the evils of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints plotting and scheming to set up for the latter-day extermination of all of us. The press no longer investigates crime. The police chief, and in this case Cox, gets up with a press conference and tells people how to report it. And so they'll record him, put his words on their news feed, and then they read from the script that he told them to read. And so, they then find a bolt-action rifle, clean of any DNA and fingerprints, but there's a screwdriver thing to disassemble it. He didn't quite get it disassembled and he abandoned it and fled. We found in the forest a palm print and an elbow print. And then what do you know? We found another video of the person on the roof fleeing, not just going up to the roof. But neither of those videos show a rifle. Because it was the Fugal building. They don't care to investigate. Cox is refusing to investigate because he's a part of the cover-up. He's a part of the assassination. That's what you do. And so they put out a blurred picture. Have you seen this person? This is number 3. Help us out. $100,000 reward for doing our job. The guy confesses. No, he doesn't. He turns himself in. Because Daddy called a U.S. Marshal in his ward. And so now, after lying about ammo engraved with trans and leftist ideology, he's not cooperating with his Miranda rights. How dare he not cooperate? All the press quoted Cox on this. He's not cooperating. Let me go over it for you in case you've never seen a cop show or a legal show with cops. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you that will tell you to confess, you criminal. Do you understand the rights which I have just read to you? Sound familiar? Why the bleeping press can't figure this out is horrifying. He does not have a lawyer representing him yet. That's supposed to be today. He's not supposed to plead without an attorney present. He's not supposed to talk to the police without counsel. And they've got him in a mental ward being interrogated by psychologists, and he's not cooperating. Like I said, they're also going to push for the mental retardation defense. To do what they did to Brian David Mitchell. Oh, wow, only mentally retarded people commit crimes. Right, YouTube Mormon employee down in Utah County? Right, D. Todd Christofferson, head of the Strengthening Church Members Committee? Right, President Russell Marion Nelson with Dallin H. Oaks, former prosecutor, Utah Supreme Court Justice. Right? Only criminals are mentally retarded. The ammo was exposed as a fraud. Governor Cox said, we've planted a different rifle now. It's a Mauser, not a bump or a block action, whatever it was. It's in the pile. They changed the rifle. The ammo no longer applies to the first rifle, and so they've kind of now finally dropped that there were engravings on the ammo. CBS reported the evidence of the case, that they've now planted a towel that had DNA after he was taken into custody, and they have a nurse who draws blood from you. DNA. To be planted on the towel. And, oh, the second rifle. Because there was nothing on the first rifle. And there originally was nothing on the second rifle either. Now there is. And that screwdriver appeared again, but you don't need it for the Mauser. They have no case. Evidence leads to the conclusion. The evidence must be used by the prosecutor to show the jury beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant that they have and are accusing did it. And there's a whole bunch of reasonable doubt all over this place. Which means they're not going to trial. Like I said, they're checking out whether or not to put him in a mental asylum here in Utah. People are going to be pissed. This went worldwide. He's not cooperating, aka confessing. And so, what are they doing now? They're now manufacturing a motive, not based on the evidence that they lied about. And so, they got a roommate. Guess what he is? A trans leftist. Huh. And he's cooperating. Now all of a sudden a letter appears, text messages. They know his cell phone, they've got it. They're manufacturing what did not exist before. And I warned you of this yesterday, as I warned before the assassination about ex post facto, fruit of the poison tree. Right, Oaks? Indeed, Todd Christofferson? How did I know? Of course they know. You witnessed it today, as I've got others of what they did to me yesterday. Just like I showed you the last time. They know I do this, and yet they keep doing it, expecting a different result. You will not shut me up. I will save lives to my dying day. Even if it's the President of the United States of America. And so they got CNN, Aaron Burnett, to take the Discord that he was on with his buddies, joking and laughing. Hey, yeah, they're showing the guy that looks like me. And so, yes, he comes out and says, guys, I got some bad news for you. Looks like I assassinated Charlie Kirk. I got a doppelganger. Oh, I'm going to turn you in. Yeah, Aaron took all that out and just put, guys, I got a confession. I did it. She would not quote the whole post, the whole chat group thing. They're framing him and setting him up. I told you about the evidence. It's the wrong person, the wrong clothes, wrong sunglasses, wrong shoes. It's not Tyler. But it doesn't matter. The guy on the roof is failure number 3. The guy on the roof didn't have a rifle. He's not the kill shot. Fugal building. And so then I found out about the airplane at the airport. Private jet. But it was dismissed as a falsehood. Because they've got the guy in custody. We don't need to investigate any further. We don't need to know the medical examiner's reports. We don't need ballistics. We're already rigging the case. The ammo had engraving that said he's trans and a leftist. We got a roommate now that's spilling the beans. Yeah, we were in a romantic relationship. Oh, yeah, we had sex. He's kind of shy and he was trying to he'll deny it. He'll deny it. We were so in love. He'll deny it. Trump ordered war on trans leftists. And now they're threatening the person to make up stuff? Utah doesn't do this. So again, I have to talk about myself from 2008. Prior to, I had deciphered Paleo-Hebrew on my daughter's birthday, the 24th of February. The little woman, she was 5'4" or 6", I can't remember which. I'm 6'5". She was a little woman. Left me in April after conference saying my kids will not learn Hebrew. So she was 4 and he was 2, and you know they adore you. Bleeping Dixie chicks. And listening all day yesterday to Chicago. Everybody needs a little time away. That's what she said when she left me. She was quoting from songs. And I was bawling all day yesterday because there was another video that I caught on to with Zion. Had Zion on my mind yesterday. That's all I wanted my whole life, was to get to Zion, to get away from these white supremacist, Christian nationalist, evil Satan worshipers. I want nothing to do with them. And here they are, all growed up, destroying America, destroying the world. Putin is now preparing to invade Europe, and Islam again met to hold a council of war against Israel. All paid for by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So I was unsealed because she asked for it, and I was told by her bishop to write how I felt about it. Oops, big mistake. I already know psychology is a fraud back then. So I wrote my feelings. Gordon B. Hinckley instantly approved the cancellation of the sealing, which is a rare condition because they don't want you getting divorced. They want you to work it out. It's a sin. And so only the most severe cases does the first president grant a cancellation of sealing, or if the divorced woman wants to get remarried. And so she has to prove herself and get permission from her husband. And under Monson, they had changed it. They also changed and added in the temple recommend interviews about child support and alimony support. Yeah, that was her. She lied. They just weren't getting it to her for some reason. I don't know. It was being garnished from my paycheck. So I was paying. I was forced to pay. But she didn't understand the process, and it's got to go to the border, and then there's a person there who says, okay, well, it's got to be converted into 2 cents in Canadian money. Well, it's actually the reverse, $1 billion in Canadian money. It's 2 cents in America back then. Not anymore. And you know, I looked Lucifer straight in the eyes on 3 separate occasions, guys, and his countenance fell as he knew he had failed to have me assassinated. I'm still standing. Fafia, however the German is pronounced. We're putting both. And so I knew that I was getting attacked, specifically, targeted. Working for the distribution center, as I was back then, they, likewise, after learning of my decipherment of Paleo-Hebrew, getting divorced, they tried to chase me out of the job. And succeeded by lying. It was after 9/11. And my dad, because of the garnishing, it was more than 50%. They're legally not allowed to do that. They did it anyway. They betrayed me here in Utah. She's a Canadian. She's in Canada. Alberta is now demanding that your identity of documentation be listed on your ID in Canada now. She's dual. She was born in Provo, obviously, as a Mormon, where the parents met and human sex trafficking occurred. Not just prostitution. And so the church had helped her to flee the country. The church supported her up in Canada. They refused to do anything for me. Here I am, having to pay for her bills. I can't remember what it's called at the moment. For Rick's college. I'm having to be garnished on my paycheck. I'm having to pay for my student loans. There it is. For my University of Lethbridge degree. And so I'm deeply hurting financially. Was forced to leave the apartment that I was staying in. Could no longer afford it. Had vehicle troubles while I was down there. Had to use a bike until the tire went flat. Tried to skateboard that didn't last long. So I had to walk to work, clear across from east to west, every single morning. As the one woman that I was staying in the apartment before I went into the other apartment denied me going to the bathroom in the middle of the night, denied me using cologne. I don't use cologne, I was using deodorant. Nope, can't have that. Are you bleeping kidding me? Evil woman. And yeah, the ward knew about it. Would do nothing to help me. And so after the sabotage of work, my dad wanted to again kick me out of the house. I was forced to go back to live with them. I was in the basement apartment that they deceived us into coming down to live in Utah, because they said that they had a basement apartment in a new subdivision home, and that I could raise my family there, and they would allow me to stay for free while I pay off the student loans and try to build to save for our own home and a white picket fence and her car and her credit cards to go shopping while I slave at work. Family proclamation. She agreed after discussing it with her. Little did I know that it was part of her plot with her mom to abandon me down there. And that's why she gave cause to abandon the marriage. And music, songs playing in the background. Chicago and Dixie Chicks. Her kids will not learn Hebrew, because I had to redo that. As her eventual husband claimed my kids on his taxes. But yeah, it was ugly all day. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And so I went to the University of Utah because my dad was threatening to murder me and kick me out of the house. So my mom threatened me to go get more student loan debts. I told her I won't be able to pay this off. Your dad is going to murder you. Get into school. So the Hebrew department said, oh yeah, we have a degree for you. We can get you set up in a Hebrew degree. And then they didn't provide any classes sufficient to get a degree anytime soon. They wanted me to go into Arabic, Islamic studies. Get 'em, Trump! Those trans lefties at the University of Utah. And then forcing me to get shots. I didn't need them. I got all my shots. My mom made sure I got all my shots as a baby. And here they're trying to claim, oh no, we're superior. We know what we're doing. So you have to either pay to get new shots, or you can't come to school, or you have to pay more to test to see if you need the shots. Yeah, it was forced. I didn't need them, and they forced me. under the guise of claiming they were superior medical doctors, which they're not. They lied. In 2020, they got exposed as liars. They suck at medical. And so, yeah, I abandoned the Hebrew field. And so that's why I got the F on that. Well, it was a C, I think. It could have been an F. I don't care. I had left it. And I got the C in the other biblical Hebrew class by the rabbi here in Utah, down at the University of Utah. And I'm sitting there asking him questions, and he's lying to me. I'd already deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. I knew what questions to ask. And he's lying to me. I already know about Louis Zuckerberg, or Zucker, who went to the BYU to tell Mormons that Joseph Smith lied. He doesn't know how to translate Hebrew. And I knew that he was lying about Joseph Smith. Already did the research, had to redo it. This church has been trying to destroy the documents, destroy the evidence, keep me from them, to murder me, to silence me, all efforts. You know, Joseph Smith, no, it wasn't him that had the problem. He was prophesying about me. Literally. I've had to go running through the forest with 200-pound gold plates. Oh my hell! Got blisters on my hands and feet from it. But there was no way in hell I'm letting them steal it from me. Oh, you thought it was literal history? June 6, 2022. Yeah, after I found the way to perfection with the death threat at the bus stop. And so, the University of Utah says you've been here too long, you're out. Oh. Daddy's not going to be happy. See, my dad was already beating me, but because I was ripped, he was in horror when he hit me. As I'm standing there staring at him going, why the hell did you hit me? He thought I was a couch potato, pudgy in the belly. Well, they turned me into that. Thank you, D. Todd Christofferson. But nonetheless, that's why. It's because I had abs of steel. And here I am watching the commercials about buns of steel, the videotape. Buy it today, and for an extra $19.99, if you order within the next 15 minutes, you can get these Ginsu knives. I saw YouTube is now doing a new version of Ginsu knives. My dad tried to prove to me that I can't translate Egyptian, because that was the next phase after Paleo-Hebrew, going on to Egyptian. Book of Mormon said so. Must be true, right? Oh, no, Mormons don't believe the Book of Mormon? And so, yeah, I've told you about how Dad found a a computer test for Egyptian knowledge, and he failed, obviously. And so, I'll show my son that he's good for nothing and he's a loser, even though I want him to get a job and get out of the house. Sits me down in front of the computer, I start taking the test. He's hovered over me to see, and he's speechless. And I can see he's a bit angry when I finish, and it says I got 100%. As he failed. Beginner's luck? Which was on NCIS last night. And so my parents used me to get my mom more Social Security money. They frauded the federal government by having me do all the work as the contractor for the Draper Post Office. As my parents would make excuses to pay me as little as possible. They took out money for my mom, and they took out money for tithing, and then gave me what was left. It was supposed to be $200 in the beginning, and they didn't pay me what they told me that was supposed to be paid. But nonetheless, there's nothing I can do about it. Then I had found out, because my dad's mom had died of Alzheimer's, and as she was nearing death before they put her into a nursing home to die 2 weeks later, they learned of the legal document power of attorney and got Grandma controlled by them to put her into the home, because she didn't even know who my dad was. She thought he was a stranger, seeing her naked while he's bathing her, feeding her. It was sad. When Stephanie and I were there at their home in Rexburg after Grandpa died, I was finishing up at Rick's. She began to start getting Alzheimer's and was driving Stephanie crazy. But we didn't know back then. Now we know after the fact, after she's now dead from it. And so I then saw, to me, power of attorney documents. I'm working for my mom, and they want to have me sign over power of attorney, trying to claim that, oh, it'll help you. We'll be in charge of your finances. I also caught that they had been going to see a psychologist for my problems. Exactly. They were plotting to have me locked up in a mental asylum for the rest of my life, to get rid of me. I still have to go another year, Mom, before you get the bump in Social Security retirement that Trump is going to destroy and take away from you. Oh, you're dead now. But yeah, my dad was able to be the beneficiary of that after he got a quadruple bypass surgery. Oh, you've got all these medical bills now, huh? Oh, Mom just conveniently died. Now you got the money to pay for it, huh? And nobody's investigating? Okay. And so I was pissed. I saw what was going on. Being at the University of Utah, I perused the bookstore looking for books. Very limited choices. But I found a law book on the Constitution and purchased it with the student loan. And read about my rights and privileges as an American citizen. Never taught to me in government in high school because he was a libtard who was a war dodger protesting, had tenure. Every single class, he just had his foot up on the desk and reading a paper, just, talking to students who thought that they had to do work. Trying to explain to them, just sit and watch the video. Fine, you can do a paper for your homework assignment. Thanks a lot, kid. As Tony LaBrose and I were talking about Caddyshack. It's the Cinderella story. That one's rated R. D-Todd. Do your research on that one. And so I start working on the papers that have been piled up since I was a kid from sacrament meeting, noticing all the contradictions of all the Mormons going against the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, even the living prophets of Jesus, the apostles, all the 70, all lying. I'm writing it all down. All these papers, philosophy of Mormonism. And so with the Constitution, I started doing a commentary on the Constitution. In 2006, I tried suing Office of Recovery Services for violating the Constitution regarding foreign governments suing me. Mark Shurtleff stepped in to prevent me from doing it, and came back the next year in May 2007, taking me to court with Michelle Bloomquist as the commissioner from the singles ward, older singles ward. So she knew me, didn't recuse, because she knew Shurtleff too. And I'm trying to explain, so he's working for my ex. No, I'm working for the state. Well, you're clearly not on my side. This is about child support for her. No, I work for the state. Michelle Bloomquist sided with him, and then told me to get myself a lawyer next time. Really, with what money that I can't come up with for child support anymore? Because I'm unemployed. He was attacking me for being unemployed, demanding I pay. In other words, get a job. Really? I got chased off the job. Evil of Mormons, under orders of Dallin H. Oaks, Strengthening Church Members Committee. And so 2008 comes along. I see that my parents are setting me up to be dumped off in an institution. I see that Mark Shurtleff went to the legislature to go after deadbeat dads and take away driver's licenses. My job requires a driver's license, even though my parents are trying to take me away from the job, because they're paying tithing on my minimal amount of money. That is all. I don't pay taxes because of the contract agreement. It's one of those where you pay cash through the illegal undocumented farmers, workers. The sex parlor workers, you pay cash so it doesn't go on the books. That kind of a deal that my parents had me involved in. And so they showed up for work on the East Coast. If they refuse to notify the president on this, I am going to be furious. Because there's more than what I read to you from the letters. And this ends up being long anyway. Crap. And so realizing that I'm under attack, a secret combination attack on multiple fronts to destroy me, I find again the book that I was working on, and as it is a petition for a redress of grievances, that's what I did. I got multiple copies made from it, sacrificed some binders to put them in, and on August 6th, the anniversary of the divorce that she was able to get in Canada without me, and her birthday, so she got a birthday gift. I went out to petition my government, the state of Utah, for a redress of grievances. You know, that Constitution thing. The church was a part of this because they were behind it. I was denied by Justices Kimball and Benson. Hey Kimball, I'm back again. When I got notification in 2020 that Kimball was assigned, I sent him a notification. Hey, you're back again. Remember me from 2006? Yeah, he then recused himself. These are the consequences of you rejecting me back then. escalated. My life was destroyed. And so the church got a copy, put it at the administration building. They claimed church office building. They lied. I went to the Capitol, where the governor and the attorney general work. Again, I'm petitioning the government for a redress of grievances. I didn't know where to put it, but I knew they worked there. They have security cameras. They had the security guard walking the beat. He saw me. They knew I was there. They saw I put the binder there. Yeah. Remember Tyler? Yeah, I know exactly what's being done to him. I then went to the federal courthouse, the old one. See, if they're trying to claim that it's the new one that I went to, oops, you pulled an anachronism. And put it there at the box for petitions for redress of grievances. Then I went to the state. Courthouse there doesn't have a drop box, or at least I couldn't find it. I went back and forth, nothing in the alley, so I just put it there at the front door. Two weeks later, August 20th. Coming home from work, noticed that the cars were unusually missing on the neighborhood. And sure enough, I get out of the vehicle. This big pickup truck comes rolling over the front yard, blocking the driveway. Guy comes out, not in uniform, has a gun pointed straight for a kill shot. Put your hands up. Get down on the ground. Do you have anything in your pockets? Yes. Proceeded to handcuff me a little too tight. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford attorney, one will be appointed to you. Do you understand the rights that I just read to you? Yes. And then zip. I'm uncooperative. And I get put in the front seat of the vehicle. Now my dad shows up. Oh, he's so concerned. What's going on? They would tell him that I was going to blow up buildings, that I'm a terrorist. My petition for a redress of grievances was now a weapon of mass destruction. 3 counts of terroristic threat. Yes, 3. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints was considered a government entity. Thank you, Mark Shurtleff. A police officer came into the back seat and was trying to get me to talk. the right to remain silent. And there he was, trying to get me to talk. So that they don't have to go to court with it. Oh, he confessed. No, I didn't. And so he made up a head nod of mine. As an answer to one of his stupid, dumbass questions that had nothing to do with the case. The driving officer looked at him and said, that was just a head nod. That was not a head nod. No. Nonetheless, she was then ordered to put in her report, as she was now the arresting officer, the dumbass cop's head nod confession. And so, as I've told you the other day and previously, they had me sitting out front at the Salt Lake County Jail as the one clerical worker in the cubicle office was hitting on me and flirting with me while I'm sitting there handcuffed. Sunglasses were still on. I'm just thinking, oh my hell, what the hell is she staring at me for? I guess I'm a bad boy now. All women want me. They never wanted me before. Now that they can't have me, they want me. And so it seemed like hours, because what they were doing was manufacturing the police statement. They had worked with my parents to try to manufacture that I'm mentally retarded. My parents had told them that I was taking counseling, so they were searching. Well, who was I getting counseling from? They couldn't find anybody. I'm not listed anywhere. No duh. Parents lied to the cops to tell them what they wanted to hear. And so they were searching, trying to find a way to pink slip me to be locked up forever so that they don't have to prosecute me. Because again, there's no evidence of a crime being committed. They were able to get a tourist manufactured who they sent home to their other state or country to claim that they were the ones who found my hidden massive destruction weapon at the Capitol building. And they were deeply concerned that a terrorist attack was imminent. Quoting the Constitution. They were never going to try me for this. They were making all of this up to vilify me. Shurtleff even manufactured the Declaration of Independence to be displayed at the Capitol and put it on the front page of the Deseret News that they knew my parents received. Knew that I had read, because I put it in there that I read about it, and that there's some miscarriages of the PRES going on. So they tried to lay a trap that I'm going to go to the Capitol and say, I'm going to blow up buildings. No, I didn't go. They had this old couple shown crying, oh, we have so much freedom in America from terrorists. They were trying to lay a trap to get me. They knew who I was, and I didn't fall for it. And so that's when they had to go for the other thing. And so D. Todd Christofferson, since April 2008, was then put in the Strengthening Church Members Committee and was working with Shurtleff to frame and blame me. D. Todd Christofferson set all of this up with Shurtleff. And so, yeah, they had my parents lie with character witness statements. My dad said that I was a rapist. He knew it. They'd already found the rapist, Dad. It was the boyfriend that she had dated. It was not me at all. And that I always resolve conflict with violence. Was that before or after you hit me? And my mom, she lied by taking out information. Travis was always depressed after the divorce. Oh, not when you helped her flee the country? Told me that children belong with their mother? Throwing the family proclamation in my face that I'm a sinner for not giving her a white picket fence with her own vehicle and credit cards to go shopping? Yeah, they obviously did not want to confess to their role in their cause of responsibility, let alone the church's. And the bishop who cursed me as Dad kicked me out of the house. Bastard. And then he has the audacity, right before she's leaving, to say, I think you're losing her. Bleep you! You're the cause! You went over to my sister's house and gave her a blessing to leave me. Bleep you! Lester child molester Nielsen. Bleep you! See, I know names. I don't forget. A massive conspiracy against me. All because I deciphered Paleo-Hebrew. And so, yes, I showed you the document. That's what the church submitted. My file 36434. See, he's a terrorist. He's involved in Hebrew and Bible studies. He's not a real Mormon, true Mormon. He doesn't obey the living prophets of Jesus' false narrative, lying about the scriptures. He's a terrorist. Get him. He's mentally retarded. See, they didn't have the full... I don't think LGBTQ was formed yet. You know, they're gay, obviously, as 2008 was Prop 8, where the church tampered with the election and the Terminators sued them. But yeah, they knew not to get involved in any of that. They stopped accusing me of being gay after leaving high school. I had a wife and kids. Yeah, they couldn't use the gay accusation anymore. So no trans for me. But leftist? I'm not a leftist. I keep telling people this. I keep telling Mormons, I'm not a Mormon, I'm not an expo. Nobody gets third options. Did you not read Stephen R. Covey's book? Everybody wants to be dumb. I want to be saved in ignorance. And so the medical guy comes out, takes my DNA, asks if I got any open sores, bruising from the handcuffs. Took several days for it to somewhat heal. And then he came out and said, you know, if you refuse, we'll just put you in the drunk tank. So yeah, I was forced to give up my DNA. Forced to get a tetanus shot. That's whatever. And threatened with the drunk tank. So I conformed and complied, and they still put me in the drunk tank. Yep, I'm drunk. They didn't do a breathalyzer. Obviously, I wasn't drunk. They didn't smell alcohol on me. Any alcohol would have come from them. And so I'm being observed by the psycho at the Salt Lake County Jail as I'm needing to go to the bathroom, and they've got a camera in the cell, plus the guy kept opening up the door right at the time where I'm dropping trowel to go to the bathroom. He wants to watch. That's what they were waiting for, to get urine sample from me. They can't do it legally, so they have to find ways to violate my rights to get it illegally. And so then the psycho says, well, I guess you've been in there long enough. Let's see about getting you out. And so I sit in the pit, watching everybody else get processed quicker than me, because they're still searching, trying to find anything to incriminate me with, getting my parents to falsely testify against me. They've got no case. I've been isolated by everybody, so there's no other people that can be character witnesses. My parents are having to do the job themselves now. Oh no, Mom. And so they're telling everybody at the post office, yeah, he was arrested for being a terrorist. They said he was going to blow up buildings and mass murder people. And yet it's the church that's doing all this, isn't it? Beam and moat. Amazing how true that is. That which you falsely accuse in another reveals the same and worse fault in yourself. D. Todd Christofferson's on the case. He took down Nixon. He knows all about secret conspiracies and fixers. And so finally, as it's well into the morning of Friday, I finally get booked. I get the photo taken. I then get sent to this other section where a little girl is behind the counter, and she asks, "Did you publish a book?" "Well, I published several." Next. It's a crime to publish a book. She didn't ask about my petition for a redress of grievances. That was not the point. They don't give a damn. And so then I was fingerprinted. They had a different one. It was a scanning system. Rather, yeah, it was on a scanner. It was more high tech. And then again I sit and I sit. And then a strange woman is looking at me. She also was there in the psycho room. And she says, "Oh, anything you say to me won't be held against you in a court of law." Well, that's a lie. And so she's talking to me about how we live in a democracy. And so I said, Constitution, Articles 4 and 6 says it's a constitutional republic, for which her countenance instantly fell in fear. She got up. I'll be right back. She crept around me because it was a tight space. The psycho in the room, he was feet on the desk, reading a paper, listening in on the whole thing. She went over to the guard on duty and talked to him, and I can see now his countenance is falling and he's getting angry. He's now looking at me. "Ooh, I'm a big, bad, mean old terrorist. This is the United States of America. We're not a constitutional republic." And so he comes over to me, "Get up." Puts me in handcuffs. Takes me to another room and tells me to strip. And so I get in, and then the door opens, and they say, "Put all your clothes here." And then I then give it to them. Then the other door opens back up, and I'm put on a chair, and I'm now wheeled down the elevator. I'm naked, going down the elevator on a chair. Big entourage goes down with me. And they have a cell block down there in the basement. It's kind of cold. They got the air conditioning working in that part of the building. And I get put into a cell right across from the main booth behind the two-way mirror. Camera on the room, on the cell. I am taken to the back wall, spread eagle, unhandcuffed, and then body cavity searched. I see little girls joined up. They've got one woman recording me, naked. Little girls lined up watching the whole process of illegality. And then I'm locked up. Cell door is shut. There's a metal bed, no cushion. The toilet is the sink. It only works for 2 seconds. And then I gotta wait a minute before I can get 2 seconds worth of water out of it. No cup, no toilet paper, no nothing. 3 times a day, they'd come in with spoiled, rotten food. They deprived me of sleep. Same episode yesterday. Torture. Deprivation, torture. The lights were always on. The guards would come out every 15 minutes, slamming doors, doing their rounds. The medical doctor would come in first thing in the morning. I would tell him that my tooth hurt, and he said, "Good." I was trying to find a way to get out. It wasn't going to be through him. 2 weeks of this. Deprivation, torture. It was clear I was never going to be put before a judge. I was never going to be assigned an attorney. They couldn't find anything on me. No evidence. And so that was what they had decided to do, was to lock me there in the dungeon for the rest of my life. Under psycho supervision. Disappeared from society. Finally, the female psycho, a different one, as the other guy also had tried to get a confession out of me. Are you seeking of harming yourself? Are you seeking to harm others? Repeated over and over again. That's also a psychological torture technique. Deprivation, torture, while repeating information to force a confession. Yes, I was gonna do it. I'm gonna murder everybody. I'm gonna blow up buildings. I don't know how. I don't have, but I know. I knew people. I can give you names. I wouldn't cooperate. And they were grateful that I wasn't cooperating, because the longer I get to stay. If I'm not going to confess, then yeah, I'm gone. I am being punished without a trial, without a judge, without hearings. Punished as if I had been found guilty. And it counts as time served. So yes, the female psycho, I told her I have a tooth hurt. The guy said, great. I said, well, we have to get you out of here in order to see a dentist. And he's just going to pull the tooth. And so, yep, oops, she set me free. Because she had sensitive snowflake feelings for a terrorist. Wouldn't surprise me if she got fired. And so they put me in Supermax. So there was Curtis Allgaier, cop killer, got caught at Arby's. And Brian David Mitchell. Oh, you're the one who raped a 14-year-old girl and kidnapped her. Yep. Yeah, he was meeting with somebody on a regular basis. Very interesting. Curtis was getting a lot of letters. I would find out that he would get married. Everybody's having fun but me. I'm a bad boy now. I got street cred. So Easy was put into the cell next to me. And they had offered him a deal that if he can get me to confess, that he would get a lighter sentence. They would talk to the judge. Apparently he had gone to a convenience store, from what he tells me, and the dumbass clerk pulled out a rifle to shoot him, and so Easy had no choice but to shoot him back. It was self-defense. He's innocent. We're all innocent. And so yeah, he confessed to his crime. So go ahead, confess to yours now. Yeah, I filed a petition for a redress of grievances. What? What? Yeah, I'm a big, bad, mean old terrorist. 3 counts of terrorism. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a government entity. I would find out that Monday, after I was put in. The Mormon who was a temple worker, who knew me, because I went there every day, had snuck me an orange one day, and so he was fired. So that I had something to eat rather than spoiled food. Not allowed to bathe. But yeah, Easy. I traded his commissary paper for my dessert. And Easy, in order to do the transfer, took his bed sheets, ripped it off into a string to tie the paper to it to send it over, and then I would attach the string with my dessert in toilet paper to keep it preserved. And that's how we would do it. And so I was using the paper to work on my game, my board game that I was trying to work on, and when I had obtained Civilization 3 complete, I had gotten a greater insight on how to have the board game run. And I still couldn't quite figure it out, but now that I'm locked up, yeah, I figured it out in jail. So I've got this board game that I made. And so they'd often do cell raids. They're trying to look for evidence. Curtis Allgaier, with his letters, was a perfect opportunity. Well, you opened up the letters, so now we can see what it says inside. And so you'd see them outside of his cell with a cart of all of his mail, and they're reading it, trying to find evidence against him. And so yes, that's what they were doing to me, is they saw that I had paper supplied by Easy, because they're trying to get me to confess. Filing a petition for a redress of grievances is not the confession we were wanting, Travis. You're being uncooperative. And so they've got me out of the cell doing their cavity search, and 2 guys are going over my game, and they're looking at it. They're trying to read it because it's very small print, because limited paper, and they can't figure out the coding for this, and they're yelling out, "What is this?" It's a board game. What? A big, bad, mean old terrorist making board games in jail? being uncooperative. Confess. They've got nothing on me. And here I am, under orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, to have me destroyed. Because they aren't translators. I am. So I'm hoping that Kash Patel is now being sent back out to Utah. And that we'll find out in the news that Governor Cox is being arrested as the shooter. Giving aid and comfort to the left. The trans left. Bastards all. And so, yeah, they couldn't. And so now that I'm out, they had to assign me a defense counsel. Adam told me, yeah, you got some very powerful enemies, and they aren't going to try this case. They're going to have you disappeared for the rest of your life. And so Mark Augustine from the mission shows up to help the church, to get a confession, to have me plead guilty. You're wrong, Travis. No, I'm not, Mark. You know I'm not wrong. Don't do that. You're bugging me. You know I don't like it when you use your hands to communicate. Really? You don't like my hands talking about things? You know, 1, it's upsetting to you. 2, it disturbs you. 3, you don't like it. Bleep you. You're betraying me because you were a sensitive snowflake on the mission, always whining to the mission president of how I wouldn't take away your agency and force you to do the job. I was giving your agency to run the mission the way you wanted it to be run, and you didn't want to do it. And so we're always on splits with the zone leaders as you're crying to the mission president, please transfer me. 6 months because you're whining and complaining. And he thought he was going to fool the mission president in the 4th month. I think I figured it out. I think that if I just pretend to bleep you. And we did a lot of work, despite his complaining, as I made the investigator documents in 3 volumes of 4-inch binders, 8.5 by 11 paper. I had it all mapped out. I had every person that we contacted. So the zone leader comes bursting in the door one day. Where's your investigator records? In the kitchen. Rushes into the kitchen. And then I hear him say, oh, you are doing work. Augustine lied. Everybody in the mission, in the New York mission, were getting 200 conversion baptisms per month, per companionship. And here we were, 0. Because everybody said no. They were telling us, you were just here, the previous companionship. And we told you no, leave us alone. And so I write in, they don't want to join. Leave them alone. So the next missionaries come in after us. Don't bother to read it first. Go to the person who again was pissed. They come back to the membership records that or the investigator records that I made, and went, oh, yeah, yep. They are not wanting to, yeah. God. What was wrong with people? Hell. And so that Mark Augustine purposely sent in to get me to confess. And I wouldn't do it, making him angry. And so, yeah, he betrayed me. And was the one to have me disappeared for the 6 years. All because he's pissed. Along with Carol Buffy. What an evil woman. The lawyer just refused to do his job. All of it was designed to get me to confess, or I'm going to have to be disappeared and punished. And so, I know, they had no intention of taking me to trial. But my situation was, it was not worldwide known. And so if they try to pull this stunt by claiming that he's mentally retarded and therefore can't go to trial, there's going to be wrath, fury, that he is not going to prison. You know, like Brian David Mitchell. They did it to him. Oh, he's mentally retarded. We have to hide him at the Provo Asylum. He's mentally retarded. And so, yeah, Senator Hatch made sure that he was cured of his mental retardation to be tried in the federal courts and is now in prison. And then, yeah, Wanda Barzee recently this year violated her parole. I'm an old woman pretending to be stupid. God, just sickening. They got her to flip on him so that she can then be free now, but not really free. So there's more to the story, obviously, but this is what Tyler is going through. And they had no case, and I told you yesterday that Shurtleff thought that while I'm locked up indefinitely in the black site here in Utah, that he would try to get me forced on drugs to speed up the execution of me. I was going to be murdered in the black site, tortured to death. And so he had to go through a court hearing, and because of the court hearing, my attorney, Adam, finally was able to point out to the judge, number 3, it says that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is a government entity. Yeah, the whole case was being dismantled. I was going to have to be let free because they don't have a case. So yeah, they immediately stopped, and Shurtleff turned it to a Class B misdemeanor of nuisance or whatever crap. Just to keep it going. He still had the other 2 felonies to have me disappeared forever. But yeah, I was only set free because 3 people retired, including Shurtleff. Yeah, who also got his comeuppance, but the FBI refused to hand over the documents that incriminated him, and so he was set free. And then he tried to sue to get $1 million, and his wife left him. He put his daughter into the mental asylum for being a teenage girl before she turned 18. And then he was working with his brother, and then that business failed, and he's ruined. What happened to those who murdered Joseph? Well, sun shall be darkened, moon turned to blood, stars fall from heaven. That's what happened. They all died. Right, Willard Richards and John Taylor and Brigham Young, Heber C. Kimball, and the rest of the gang. Curse of Joseph Smith. So this is what Tyler is having to go through. This is the extent that this church will do to get their kingdom back. Charlie was assassinated. It is obvious that there is no case against Tyler. The evidence does not point to him. Even if it's the doppelganger, he didn't do it either. But it means that that person who's the doppelganger was a plant to be the doppelganger. He was number 3. And so he obviously, I don't think he was set up. He just wanted to watch from the roof. And people saw him on the roof. But everybody ignored the evidence, the forensic investigation. There was no need to do a ballistics now that they got a guy. There's no need to do an investigation of the body for the trajectory because they got a guy. Everything is being transformed because they got a guy. This time they can't let him go like the other 2. They've gone too far now. They've doctored too much of the evidence. They've planted too much evidence. So, some other stuff that's going on. We'll just read over it. Trump has now declared war against the left. People are getting arrested and fired for not accepting the false narrative of the assassination. They are using this of the blacklist to put more people on the blacklist, and they're now acting on it, getting people arrested and fired from their jobs for being lefties. We have got the Red Scare back in America now. The McCarthy hearings. It's back, baby. Getting all the commies locked up and deported. And so, declaring war. Stephen Miller declaring war against the left. He put it in Trump's ear. He set it all up. It's what they did in Nazi Germany. That's why Stephen Miller came up with the great idea. Using Charlie KIRK as the martyr for the cause. And so Senator Lee on Trump's YouTube channel is there justifying declaring war. And he's the one part of the coup against Trump. That was in my letter. Remember, his 3rd great-grandfather was responsible for Joseph Smith and the Mountain Meadows Massacre. And so, yeah. Cox is saying Tyler's roommate is cooperating. Well, he's not under arrest. They're getting him to tell them what they want. They got him to manufacture a letter. They got him to manufacture text messages. All of this because he's in jail. It's all being lied about, all being manufactured, just like they did to me. But in my case, like Tyler's, they're not going to be able to get the evidence to do enough of it. Because if he wrote the letter, there's a linguistic pattern. And so his defense would be, yeah, I didn't write this. And so he would then have to, But, I don't think we've read the letter. They just talked about it and summarized it, saying he confessed. And so Aaron Burnett, with the Discord thing, took it out of context. He was joking. In the context, he says there's a doppelganger who shot Charlie Kirk. And then they all laughed and, oh yeah, I'm going to turn you in and get the $100,000. It's what people do. But they're using everything to get him accused. And yet, a good lawyer will say they've got no evidence on you. They claim the rifle, but then they planted another rifle. They planted the towel after the fact. They no longer talk about the ammo that says you're a trans leftist. There is no messaging on ammo to present in court. They're trying all kinds of ways to vilify him so that he thinks, oh no, there's nothing I can do, I'm doomed, I might as well plead guilty and hope for life in prison rather than the death penalty that Cox ordered and the Utah Attorney General ordered will be done. And then they're going to say, oh, the people want you dead anyway? Oh, we tried. You confessed. Oops. Oh well, sucks to be you. And we're going to murder you quicker than the Menendez, whatever the guy's name on death row that is now getting away with it. Claiming he's mentally retarded. Oh, I'm mentally retarded now. You can't kill me. Well, the fact that you can claim that means you're not mentally retarded. And so Greta is on a new boat now that they built and is now headed to Gaza again. She wants to die for Allah, to be one of the 72 virgins. Not quite how it works, dear. And so, yeah, now they're calling it a roadmap to go after all the left. Everybody on the list. I warned you it was coming, and here it is. And so, yeah. Yeah, you can't investigate the motive until you got the evidence, and they don't have the evidence. They planted the evidence and lying about it. Fruit of the poison tree, planted the DNA. Putin is now attacking Romania because drones are not harmless. When they say that Putin has drones over Romania, those are weaponized. Over Poland, weaponized. Against NATO, weaponized. Just because he's not attacking, he's still invading their soil in the airspace. He's trying to provoke a war to claim he's innocent. He's not innocent. He's already declared war. So, yeah, nobody's catching on to this, I guess. Cox is threatening more violence. It's not the time to victim blame, and so I'm going to now punish all of you with arrests if you don't stop blaming me for botching this. Yep. And so they're now going to lock up all of the witnesses who showed up. If you're still listening, if you know somebody who was there, yeah, they're going to be arrested now. All the single mothers and the single fathers with their little children going to see the assassination, they are now witnesses. They have to be exterminated. They cannot be allowed to continue to lie about what they didn't see as witnesses. And so yes, the FBI has now put at the UVU a little blacklisting box for people to turn themselves in to be arrested. Psychologists are also there to lock you up in an asylum, to drug you for the rest of your life also, in case you want to choose how to be disappeared for the rest of your life. We had another terrorist threat here in Utah, Magna. 2 guys tried to blow up a media vehicle. That was stupid of you. Everybody's going after the wrong causation. I don't get it. But yeah, they're accusing the media here in Utah of being leftist. So yeah, it was interesting. A tornado struck on the 13th of September in San Juan County. Many more people are homeless now. Okay, that one's done. The church confessed that they didn't conserve water previously, like they said they were conserving water, and so now they're claiming, we promised this time we're conserving water. And so, yeah, the note by the tranny, you know, they have declared war against trans lefties, and yet it's a tranny that they're getting to lie about Tyler. Yeah, we were in a serious relationship. He's gonna deny it though, but we were so in love. We were planning on shopping for dresses, picking out a ring. He'll deny it though. We just had a trans leftist shoot up a Catholic church previously, and now here we go. They're setting up Tyler to be a trans lefty who murdered KIRK. Do not see the pattern here of Trump now saying, we are declaring war against the left. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints set this all up, knowing it would trigger Trump. And bingo, and then they're going to murder him after the church gets their kingdom back. Oh yeah, my parents also, because they had no case against me, no evidence, they had my parents take me to court for a restraining order. I'm locked up for the rest of my life. I'm not going anywhere. And yet, just in case, because they knew they had no case, I would be set free. And yes, when they tried to force me on drugs, that's when my lawyer said, number 3, church is a government entity. The whole case was being destroyed because there is no case. It was stupid. And so, yeah, my parents, I'm standing there before the judge, and they're trying to say that somewhere in my journal, which I'm going to murder my dad. We've got the evidence right here. Where? It's not in there. Oh, Travis. Yeah, the judge sided with my parents. No evidence. My parents just said, yeah, the cops arrested him. He's locked up now for terrorism. He's going to blow up buildings. Ooh, we need to punish you without a trial. Yeah, all to rig the case against me. Because they had no evidence. They had to manufacture other stuff that are fruit of the poison tree. And so, yeah, everybody's going to be arrested who were in attendance, even the news reporter, which was most likely the vehicle of the news agency. So, yeah, I was going to redo the Book of Mormon on trial. You need evidence for the Book of Mormon, not feelings that the guy published in his book. God. Okay, talked about that. And talked about that. All must support the narrative or be arrested and fired. This is social behavioral control, in case you hadn't caught on. Psychological. The Nazis are here. The Nazis are here. They're thanking their American liberators. And so, yes, cutting communications is done right before a strike, an attack. So, the call to ban and blackout the press and the internet by Cox is that war is coming. Yep. Ding, 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 ding. And so, yes, to shut me up with cyber terrorism designed specifically because there's an attack imminent. The church is getting their kingdom back at all costs and over your dead body. And Qatar hosted an Arab Islamic war conference against Israel. Yep, they see what's going on in America. They know it's coming, and they're ramping it up in preparation for it. And so during Biden, the Democrats failed America. They knew what they had to do. They failed to do it. They lost more rights of the American citizens through the MAGA SCOTUS. And so now Trump is back, and we're all doomed. That's your Democrat Party for you. So, yep, Stephen Miller, neo-Nazi, calling for war against the left. Yeah, the FBI Virtual Family Assistance Center for witnesses to be put on a blacklist. Oh my hell. The lies to cover it up. The changing of names, the changing of definitions. And then Pam Bondi. We have an army of young people radicalized by the left. All should fear and tremble for what is about to happen. Trump hesitated to do it. He was getting sued. Judges were telling him no. And he tacos out. And the church has had enough of it. And so yes, with the Catholic shooting, the church said, there's an idea. They knew Charlie Kirk was coming. They knew he was wanting the release of the Epstein files. As a good Christian boy, calling for prayer, and they assassinated him because he is not Mormon. They knew that he would be used as a martyr by Trump and Fox and MAGA because he was turning Mormon youth away from the church. that is why. So, there you go. 3 hours, huh? Crap. Cyber attacked by YouTube by D. Todd Christofferson and the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And they're going to be pissed even more with this video if Trump doesn't act.